It was Christmas Eve, 1984, in the small town of Greeley, Colorado, when 12-year-old Jonelle Matthews vanished into thin air, right from her own home. One moment she was singing carols with her school choir, and the next, she was gone without a trace. Jonelle had just returned home from a school choir performance. Her father, Jim, was out watching her sister's basketball game, and her mother was visiting relatives out of state. This left Jonelle home alone, a situation that seemed ordinary enough for the quiet town of Greeley. She kicked off her shoes, turned up the thermostat, and settled in for the night. When her father returned around 9:30 p.m., the house was eerily silent. Jonelle was nowhere to be found. Her shoes were by the door, and the TV was still on, but there was no sign of her. Concern turned to panic when Jim noticed the family's front door was slightly ajar, and Jonelle's footprints led only as far as the garage, then disappeared. The police were called, and a search began immediately, but no clues surfaced. It was as if Jonelle had simply vanished. The town rallied around the Matthews family, holding vigils and distributing flyers, but weeks turned into months with no answers. As the case grew colder, rumors and theories began to spread. Some speculated that Jonelle had run away, but those who knew her dismissed the idea. Others whispered about a potential abduction, pointing to the possibility of someone watching her choir performance that night. Then, in 2019, 35 years after her disappearance, workers excavating an oil field in rural Weld County stumbled upon human remains. Forensic testing confirmed it was Jonelle. The small town's worst fears were realized. Jonelle had been murdered. The case took another twist when investigators zeroed in on Stephen Pankey, a former Greeley resident with a history of suspicious behavior. Pankey, who had inserted himself into the investigation multiple times over the years, was eventually charged with Jonelle's kidnapping and murder. Despite the arrest, questions remain. What really happened that night in 1984? Why Jonelle? And how did her case go unsolved for so long?